Hello, parents. My name is Steve Swaggerty, and I'm the principal of Highland Elementary. We want to welcome the class of 2034. No, that is not an error, 2034. The journey here in Sylvania Schools is a fantastic one, and we're so excited you guys are going to be joining us. Of course, we're a little disappointed that we're not getting to see you in person and you're having to join us through a computer screen tonight. But we are super appreciative that we have the technology to be able to reach you in this way and be able to give you some glimpses as to what kindergarten will look like, and then also help you get prepared for kindergarten next year. Let's start with a message from our superintendent, Dr. Veronica Motley.
Hello, and welcome to the 2021 Sylvania Schools Kindergarten Parent Information Session. My name is Dr. Veronica Motley, and I am the proud superintendent of Sylvania Schools and a resident of Sylvania. It is my absolute pleasure to officially welcome you and your children to our district, and more specifically, our elementary schools. If this is your first child entering kindergarten or your last child entering kindergarten, this is an exciting moment for you and your family, as today marks the beginning of a great journey. Before us, we have the graduating class of 2034. And although 2034 sounds far into the future, I assure you that the time goes by quickly. Today is the first step of a 13-year academic expedition where we will serve as partners in your child's educational career. And we look forward to working alongside you to ensure your child's future is a success. On behalf of our Board of Education, I again welcome you and your child to Sylvania Schools, the gem of Northwest Ohio.
Thank you, Dr. Motley. Okay, let's continue with introductions and meet Team Kindergarten. First, we have Miss Fender, and we have Mrs. Korn, and Mrs. Martin, Mrs. McDonough, and Mrs. Whitcomb. You're going to hear from all of our kindergarten teachers tonight. One piece of our program is going to be walking you through what a typical day looks like for our kindergartners here at Highland. And our teachers are going to narrate that and kind of give you a look at their day from a teacher's perspective. So I will make a small comment here about making teacher requests. My wife and I have two kindergartners, twin boys, and we did not request for our kids. Have complete faith in all five of our kindergarten teachers. They all do a fantastic job. They have their own style, of course, but the end product is fantastic. And I would encourage all of our parents to not make requests over the course of your kids' time here at Highland. Our teachers do an outstanding job of placing kids in situations that are really good for them. Knowing their teammates' personalities and knowing the kids' personalities, they do a great job of balancing classes and putting kids in good situations. So trust our team to put your child in a good spot each year here at Highland. Okay, in this video, you are going to learn important information on Highland, on kindergarten, and on the registration process. I'm going to go through a bunch of dates, and I don't want you to panic and write everything down as quickly as you possibly can, because this is going to be the last slide that you see, and you can pause the video at the end. You'll be able to write down all these dates or put them into your calendar, and I'm going to have these links in the email that's going to be sent out to you guys. So you'll be able to just quickly click on those and access the different websites that we're offering. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the program. Also, in this video, you're going to get tips on preparing your child for kindergarten. So they walk to the door, they're ready to go. And you're going to hear from our community partners and support services. Do we offer care before school or after school? The school nurse, registering for school, all those things. You're going to learn about all that in this video. First, let's just start off with some basics about Highland. We educate students from kindergarten through the 5th grade. And we have 656 students this year. Our average class size last year, you can see for kindergarten, was 19.4. Grades 1 through 3 was 21.7, and 4 and 5, 24.2. Pretty comfortable numbers for us. Highland is a big school. Last year it was the 3rd biggest school in the district, behind the two high schools. But I would also say that it feels like a small school. Our teachers, our parents that come in and volunteer, our staff, they treat our kids like their own. And so while it's a big school, it feels like a small school in many ways. Some other Highland basics. Kindergarten is full day and begins on the third day of the school year. The school day is 9:05 in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon. And you might be thinking, what does drop-off look like? What does parent pickup look like? Taking the bus, all those things. We will send a parent handbook home in the summer for you to take a look at, and you can see how everything works. Kid forgets a lunch, lost and found, all those types of things. We'll have all that information in that handbook. The other Highland basic kind of ingredient that I want to point out right now is we need you as parents. Our parents significantly improve the student experience. They volunteer in classrooms. They're really active in the Highland Parent Organization. Our teachers provide a great experience for kids in the classroom. But what our parents add to our recipe makes it a truly special experience for our kids. And so what I'm laying the groundwork for tonight is hopefully a partnership with you over these next 6 years. If you have the time and the availability to volunteer in the classroom, outstanding. If you can help lead one of our programs or volunteer for the Highland Parent Organization, all of that stuff, donating your time and your talent, it is super, super appreciated. So another important piece of Highland Elementary. Speaking of parents, let's talk about the Highland Parent Organization. So our current officers right now, we have Jen Beaudoin, who's our president, and we have Brittany Lofiego, our vice president. Patty Kalita is our treasurer, and Beth Pharisee is our secretary. And they lead a broader group of parents who put on all kinds of fun activities throughout the course of the year that make the Highland experience a wonderful one for our kids. In the end, the question that we ask ourselves, and I think the mission we're on, is how great can we make this experience for our kids? If over the years, if you guys have ideas, things that we can do to add to the Highland experience, please don't ever hesitate to share those, as we want to make their journey here a magical one. Okay, now a message from our president, Jen, on a way that you can order school supplies for next year without leaving your couch.
I know it's hard to think about school supply shopping, especially right now. I wanted to deliver some good news. There will be a first day of school next year. That is why I am so excited to announce a continued partnership with First Day of School Supplies. This year, First Day of School Supplies is going to help parents and teachers get the exact supplies needed for the school year without the risk of shopping at Walmart, Target, or Staples. I have personally found First Day of School Supplies to be convenient, easy, and hassle-free. Plus, they have guaranteed competitive prices on the highest quality brands, including the germ-fighting brands like Purell and Clorox. So, with all the uncertainty this summer will bring, why not check school supply shopping off your list? As for me and my family, I will have already purchased the school supplies from the comfort of my home. You can make your purchase right now. Get started by clicking the link below.
Okay, next up, you are going to hear from our Student Services Office, which is at our central office at 4747 Holland, Sylvania. This is where students get registered to become official Sylvania Schools students. And you're also going to hear from our head nurse, Randy Nelson, who actually happens to be Highland's nurse. And they're going to tell you all the things that we have to do in order to get your child ready to go from a paperwork standpoint. So here we go.
Hi, my name is Randy Nelson. I'm the lead school nurse for Sylvania Schools. And on the behalf of the school nurses, we want to welcome you and your kindergartner to Sylvania Schools. There's just some things that in this PowerPoint that I want to emphasize. And please let me know if there's anything else that I can do to help your experience be better. My email is rnelson@sylvaniaschools.org. Each school will have a nurse at certain times of the day. I would encourage you to contact your secretary or school principal to ask who your nurse is. And then, of course, if you have a question that can't be answered by your nurse, please feel free to reach out to me. We do many things as school nurses. Part of what we do is collect the immunization records. This is a requirement by the Ohio Department of Health, so that we can see if a child is lacking in immunizations. Another thing that we do is we do medications at school for students that need to have medications available. Medical history, we will check present medical history, past medical history as well. Day-to-day illnesses and bumps and bruises. We also check vision and hearing on certain grades pre-K through 12. The school policy requires that any medication, whether it's prescription or over-the-counter, be accompanied with a physician's order form. Sometimes with certain medications like inhalers or EpiPens, the physician will determine that a child is able to carry those medications on him or her. That also has to be addressed in the medication form. So if a child has an inhaler ordered and the doctor thinks that the child is responsible enough to carry the inhaler, he has to state so on the medication form. The required vaccinations prior to entry. There's a slide in this PowerPoint that points out all the required vaccinations. Sometimes the vaccinations are delayed. You can be on a delayed vaccination schedule. This is okayed through your pediatrician. And I would say if that involves your student, just let your school nurse know so that they can expect when the next vaccination will be done. There are places other than your pediatrician's office to obtain vaccinations. Here in the PowerPoint, we have a list of different locations. Also, feel free to talk to your school nurse about your concerns. That's it for my PowerPoint. We welcome you. We hope that this is a great experience for you and your student. And please let us know if we can do anything. Thank you.
Welcome to Sylvania Schools. My name is Hema Shah from Student Services, and with me is
Twyla Gillespie, Disability Services.
Today we're going to go over the registration process for our incoming kindergarten students. We do all registrations online, so first thing you're going to go is visit our website at sylvaniaschools.org, and from the home page you will select the Enroll tab. There you're going to find the instructions on how to register a new student, as well as the required documents that you're going to need. First of all, if you have existing students, you probably already have a OneView account. If you already have a OneView account, you're going to use that account to register your kindergartner. If you don't have a OneView account, you need to create an account, and here are instructions on how to do that, as well as a video link that you can watch to help you step by step on creating your account. Once you have created the account, you will submit your registration form online through the OneView portal. The other place you can click on if you have your login for OneView is the Register Now button, which will take you to the OneView portal, and you can log in with your username and password to register your student. Once you have successfully submitted the online OneView registration form, you will get a message that it was submitted to the district successfully, and there you will get a link to schedule an appointment. The link is also available here in case you wanted to check your calendar and come back to it to schedule your appointment. Those appointments are going to be done via phone, so we will be contacting you at the number you provide on the calendar at your scheduled appointment time. Okay, so now we're going to go over the documents that we will need to get your student registered. Kindergarten students must be 5 years old on or before August 1st in order to start in the fall. The documents that are required for registration are the birth certificate. The birth certificates are the ones that are issued from the Department of Vital Statistics, not the one you may get from the hospital as a keepsake. We'll need the parent's photo ID and proof of residency. With the proof of residency, you will need to fill out the residency verification and affidavit form, which you are able to download here through this link. And with that form, you will be required to submit the applicable proof of residency. If you own your home, you can submit a current utility bill. If you purchase a home in our district, we will need to have a purchase agreement that's signed by both parties, and then you will have 60 days to provide a current utility bill. If you are renting within our district, please provide us with a signed lease agreement and a current utility bill within 30 days. If you have a building contract, we will need to have a signed building contract and then a utility bill and the closing documents and all of those as the time frame permits. If you do not own your home or have a lease agreement within our district and reside with another district family, you will have to fill out Section C of the residency affidavit form, and both parties, the district resident as well as the parent, have to sign that form in front of a notary. So that form has to be notarized, and a current utility bill in the district resident's name as well as a piece of significant mail needs to be provided, such as a paycheck stub, a government document, or a bank statement. Proof of custody, if it's applicable, will have to be provided with a file stamped and signed by the judge copy to make it valid. Immunization records. For first-time kindergarten students, please provide the physical examination form that has to be completed by the doctor from usually their 5-year checkup, along with the immunization records. And there is an optional dental form that is usually completed by the dentist if you wish to submit that. We understand that physical examinations are scheduled at different times of the year, depending on birth dates. So you are able to go ahead and submit those as long as they are submitted before school starts in August. So please do not delay the registration process if you haven't gotten your physical done from the doctor. And I just want to go over a couple of areas where you are able to go and use for your documents and forms that you can download. Click on the forms and documents. That'll take you to this page where there are links to the residency verification and affidavit form, which is required of all students, the kindergarten physical examination form that you are able to print and take to the doctor's office for him to complete, and there's a oral assessment, which is the dental form that I referenced earlier, which is optional. Here is a kindergarten registration help sheet, which is a nice little reference that you can use, which explains just in bullet list of what you may need for your kindergartners. There is a registration checklist available here, which is a really good reference that is what's on our enroll page that you are able to use so you can check off all of the items that are applicable to your situation. Here is a questions and concerns page where it has our phone number to contact us if you have any questions, and an email address that you are able to use to inquire anything about your new student. Thank you very much, and I'm going to hand it over to Twyla, who's going to talk about our preschoolers.
If you have a preschooler that currently attends Maplewood or Whiteford Elementary, you will still need to complete the OneView process. If you already have a OneView account, which means you have a child in our district, you can simply add your kindergartner to that account. If if this is your first child coming into Sylvania schools, then you will need to create a new account. I do have the birth certificates of the preschoolers on file, so you will not need to provide the birth certificate. All the other items that are listed with the documents, such as photo ID, proof of residency, custody papers, whatever applies to your situation, you will need to provide those items, though, for your kindergarten registration. Some of you have already had the medical for the 5-year checkup. Those were completed on a preschool form. You will need to print off the kindergarten form and take it to your doctor and have them fill it out. You do not need to make another physical appointment for that if they've already had their 5-year checkup. Make sure that you bring a copy of their immunizations and supply it with your medical form. I do not keep the immunizations here on file. If you are a new family moving to our district and you have a child with a disability, you will need to provide me with a copy of the evaluation that made them eligible for services and also the current IEP. Those of you that already have special education students in our preschool, I have the copies of the special education records, so you do not need to provide those. If you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact myself or Hema at the phone number and email listed. Thank you for your attention and welcome to Sylvania Schools.
Okay, one last auxiliary program that you may be wondering about is extended time childcare. So if you have to be at work before our doors open, which is at 8:50 in the morning, or you work later and your child needs to be cared for after school lets out, if there's no one there to take care of them at home or you don't have a babysitter, Sylvania Community Services does provide before and after school care, starting at 6:30 in the morning until school begins at 8:50. They're dismissed to head to their classroom, and then after school until 6 p.m. We call it ET. ET is provided in the school cafeteria by the Sylvania Community Services staff. And if you Google their name, Sylvania Community Services, it's the first link that will pop up, and you can use their website to get registered, or you can call them at 419-885-2451. My wife and I, we use the before school care when we have meetings and things like that going on. We will send our son Grady down there to be with that staff, and they do a great job taking care of the kids, keeping them active with puzzles and games and things like that. So, but contact them if you're interested. Okay, let's take a look at the kindergarten calendar. And again, I'm going to give you guys a list of these dates, but I want you just to understand what you're looking at when you see these dates, what's actually happening. So on Tuesday, August 3rd, we're going to send home a letter to you from your kindergarten teachers, and they're going to give you details on the start of the year, specific to kindergarten parents and students. And then on Tuesday, August 10th, we're going to have our Cardinal Kickoff Day. And this is for everybody. We have 2 sessions, 8 to noon or 2 to 6. And that's where parents and students come in. You find out who your teacher is. You drop off your school supplies in your locker. You learn your bus number. We take school pictures, and you register your medications with our school nurse. And you can come anytime during those 2 windows on Tuesday, August 10th. And then on Thursday, August 12th, we have Highland's open house. And you can see we have it divided up there by alphabet, and we'll communicate this again as we get closer to the date. But that just breaks it up a little bit, so the parking lot's not too full. Actually, it's going to be really full. But 2 sessions, but it's a great chance for you to meet your teacher, see your classroom, and then get signed up for fall conferences. And that's on Thursday, August 12th. And then the following Monday and Tuesday, we have parent and student conferences with the teacher. So these are small groups of families at a time. We'll meet with your specific kindergarten teacher. You cover lots of logistical information and details, and you have the opportunity to ask questions and just become familiar and comfortable with your kindergarten teacher and their classroom. And then on the 18th and the 19th, we bring the kids in small groups. 18th, 19th, and 20th. Sorry, you're going to come in on one of those days. Your child will come in, and they're going to attend school the whole day. It'll be just like a typical day, except the group will be very small. Just a third of their class will be there. So it gives our teacher a chance to really get to know our kids before the school year starts and help our kids that are coming into this big school with new teacher and new staff a chance to feel more comfortable before the room is full with the rest of the class. And then Monday, August 23rd of 2021 will be the first day of kindergarten for the class of 2034, and we cannot wait.
Here is what a typical day for a kindergartner at Highland Elementary looks like. We usually begin the day with our English and Language Arts program, which includes components of the Daily 5 program, the Hegerty Phonemic Awareness program, the Handwriting Without Tears program, and then Core Plus time. The Daily 5 program includes Read to Self. And in Read to Self, students are taught to use strategies for learning to read age-appropriate books. Daily 5 also includes listening to someone else read. And in this, students hear modeled fluency and enjoy listening to and discussing good children's literature. The Daily 5 program also includes reading to someone. As kindergarten students become more and more confident in their reading, they are excited to practice reading to peers. The Daily 5 program also includes word work. And in word work, students practice with high-frequency words, rhyming, letter sounds, and other important word skills during this word work time. The Daily 5 program also includes writing. And in this, students work on developing their writing skills. Now at Highland, our English and Language Arts program also includes the Hegerty Phonemic Awareness program. And this wonderful program includes activities in which the crucial elements of oral language are developed during this time. Components include such things as rhyming, beginning, ending, and middle sounds, and syllables, just to name a few. The skills that are focused on are fundamental pre-reading skills. We also use the Handwriting Without Tears program. And in this program, we teach students how to write both uppercase and lowercase letters correctly, and also numbers. This is a big focus in kindergarten so that students learn a method for writing uppercase, lowercase, both types of letters, and also numbers. And at the end of the morning, we have a portion of time called Core Plus time. Core Plus time is a daily period set aside in which students can review and focus on important skills that may need reinforcement. So no new instruction is presented during this time, but it is a time of reinforcement of skills that have already been learned. And then a very important part of our day is lunchtime, where students get to eat in a relaxed setting and they get to socialize with peers and just enjoy being with each other. And then, of course, after that, recess is a big hit, a very important part of the day where students get to go outside on weather-appropriate days. They get to use their large muscles and enjoy play and enjoy having fun with their peers.
In kindergarten, we explore science in a variety of ways. Many times we explore the topic of science through our weekly themes that we're learning about for the week. And some of the things that we learn about through science are the seasons and our environment and nature. We also learn about the moon and the sun and stars, the difference between living and non-living things, life cycles of various animals and their habitats, and so much more. And many times this is embedded into our day-to-day through nonfiction stories and other fun activities that we're able to do. Also, each afternoon, each kindergartner has the ability to attend phys ed, music and art class. And through these activities, they meet with a special areas teacher where they explore different activities in this area. And this is done weekly here in kindergarten. And it's usually a very fun activity for the kids.
All right, so after your child attends specials, they will go on to math, and we do a lot in math. The main priority is number sense, and then our other skills build upon that, and we also incorporate a lot of math into our calendar time. So our curriculum is called Big Ideas Math, and we work on things like number identification. We look at numbers greater than and less than. We start within 10, then within 20, and then higher than 20. We compose and decompose numbers 0 to 20, so that's breaking apart and putting together so they can learn the value of 10 and greater. We learn first to count by ones, and if you could have your child learning to count to 20 by ones before kindergarten, that would be helpful. We go up to 50, 75, and then 100 throughout the school year. We also then learn to count by fives and tens to 100. We also look at shapes. We solidify knowing 2D shapes, and then we move later on in the school year to 3D shapes. We have addition within 10. So again, that's why we build a base upon 10, so we can work within numbers within 10. And then we'll move on to subtraction within 10. So those are two really big skills we work on throughout the year. We other do components like graphing, like their favorite color, favorite activities, how they get to school. We work with measurement on length and height and weight. In February, we do a big study on coin names and values, talking about presidents. And we learn how to mix those coins for different values. And then we also incorporate a big chunk of our day into calendar, and lots of skills are built into calendar.
Social studies is also an important part of our day in kindergarten. We learn about a variety of topics in social studies, such as major holidays and influential figures. We learn about people like the presidents and Martin Luther King Jr. and other people who have made a big impact for us. And we learn about maps and important events in history. We also learn about symbols of the United States and the local governments, and so much more. And many of these social studies activities are introduced through a lot of nonfiction text and nonfiction videos and learning about each other and our experiences. And we find a lot of really fun ways to introduce social studies to the kindergartners.
Thanks to our entire kindergarten team for helping to explain, what a basic day looks like for our kids. I do want to throw in just a little bit of a broader perspective. We do think it's really important that our kids get a holistic education. I think our teachers do an amazing job teaching our kids to read, to write, and the basics with mathematics. I've been super impressed with my own kids' ability to read and how quickly that has blossomed, especially considering we've only been in school 2 days a week through the fall. He has learned to read so quickly and developed a passion, I want to say, for what he's doing in the classroom. It's been super impressive. And your kids are going to have the benefit of not having to start off on a hybrid schedule, which is fantastic. But we do offer other things beyond the reading, writing, and arithmetic. Our kids get 55 minutes of art a week, 30 minutes of library, and they use that to continue to grow that love of reading. 2 30-minute sessions of music a week. Same for physical education. And then last year, in normal times, and I'm hoping we can continue this next year, we brought the Sylvania STEM Center in, and they worked with our kids, teaching our younger kids robotics. and teaching them to program robots, and then taught our older kids how to do a little bit of coding, and they designed their own video games, which was a great experience for our kids. So we're hoping to have the same type of partnership in the coming year and for years to come, which hopefully your kids will get to benefit from. Our parents volunteer and facilitate a Kindness Matters program, which is a lot to do with character education. And I'll say our kids here are fantastic. They are kind. This is probably the kindest generation we've ever had. They're nice to each other. We spend a lot of time talking about social, emotional things through our counselors. So this is a really kind time for kids to grow up. But our parents come in and reinforce some of those leadership principles and kindness principles with our kids. And then we have counselors lessons that go on a regular basis. Our school counselors provide support for kindergarten through 5th grade students so they can be confident learners. They work with our kids, our parents, and our teachers to ensure that students are on track socially, emotionally, and academically. And we have a full-time counselor here and a part-time counselor here to service all of our kids. They use Second Step, which is a program that fosters emotional growth in our kids. They offer classroom lessons in kindergarten at least twice a month, specifically focused on their ability to interact with other people. They have fun learning about empathy, emotion management, and problem solving. And one more, piece of the bigger picture is our technology integration at Highland. Every classroom has a smartboard, and every classroom is equipped with a full set of Chromebooks for our kids. We've been using those a little bit too much to our liking over the past 10 months, and we're looking forward to going back to what we typically do, which is using them to individualize learning and to help connect with kids where they are and help them grow from where they are in a larger class setting. So kindergarten teachers see the value in them, they use them, but not all the time. Interaction from kid to kid is super important. That social interaction is super important. So our younger grades don't use it as much as our older grades do, but they do introduce the technology to the kids and use it to maximize the time that we have with them. Okay, and then the end of the day, we have dismissal. And you can see on the lower left-hand picture there, we've got parents lined up. If you're going to be picking up your child, you will come up to the patio to physically retrieve your child. That way we know that they're safe leaving with you. If your child is going to ride the bus, we line them up and walk them safely out with our safety patrol and teacher supervisors out to their bus. And in the lower right, you see a picture there of an older student who was a 5th grader last year, and he was a bus buddy for one of our kindergartners. So riding the bus can be a scary experience for young kids. And so we want to give them a little bit of guidance getting out to the bus to make sure they get on the right bus. So our 5th grade teachers and our kindergarten teachers work together to pair kids to make sure that they get into a good routine of getting out to the right bus and getting in the right bus line, that type of thing at the start of the school year. So your child will have a bus buddy if needed to start next school year.
Hello, this is Mrs. Korn, and I'm going to talk to you about a few ways to prepare your kindergartner for some literacy activities, for literacy at school. Here's a few activities you could try at home. Reading to your child daily is huge. I can't stress more. Read to your child. Daily, in the car, however it works into your schedule, but it is extremely important. So definitely read. Recognizing your uppercase and lowercase letters. Some activities to try with that, or maybe make a matching game with upper and lowercase letters and match them. Match the uppercase to the lowercase. You could go on a letter hunt with have your children go look for the letter B in your house, or look for letters on signs, maybe when you're driving. They could find them on cereal boxes or on a menu if you're out to dinner. Just have fun with it and looking for uppercase and lowercase letters. Practicing your letters out of order is very important. So recognizing the letters when they're not in the ABC order is very important as well. So you could use flashcards to just identify those. You make sure you're doing uppercase as well as lowercase. Another activity they could do is make flashcards and put the letters in alphabetical order. So just sort of make it fun and work on those activities. Saying their first and last name is important, especially when they get to school and they're asked, what is your name? First and last name, middle name if they want to get fancy. And they should work on printing their first name. Using an uppercase letter at the beginning is even better if they can do that, and lowercase letters for the rest of their name. Work on the pencil grip. So whatever hand they choose to pick the pencil up with is their natural instinct. So if they pick it up with the left hand, let them write with the left. Some kids kind of do both for a while. So just whatever they're comfortable with. Try to work on a good grip with that they're using their wrist as well as their fingers and not stiff. You could also use Play-Doh or silly putty to kind of develop those muscles so they're ready for writing. They can use a crayon. You can use it like a fat crayon or a fat pencil, and they can work their way to the skinny kind so that they're adjusting that way. Chalk on the driveway is a great way to practice. All right, next is some rhyming words. Hang on. Rhyming is huge. Kids love to listen to stories that rhyme. So read out loud rhyming stories to them. Have them listen for the rhyming words and see if they can name them as you're reading. And also have them come up with their own rhyming words. Like what rhymes with cat? Can you think of some things that rhyme with cat? So rhyming is big. So and it's a fun activity for them to do. So work on the rhyming. Next thing is we have a rhyming. Recognize the rhyming with the print concepts, which means when you're reading a book, they want to show what the front of the book is and the back of the book. You want to show where we begin reading. We begin reading at the top. And the direction we're reading. We read from the left to right. So just demonstrate that as you're reading, and even ask your child when you open the book, where do I start? Where should I start the words? And demonstrate that left to right motion as well. As well as showing where the front of the book is and the back of the book. All right. Retelling the story is a big one too. So when you're reading, when you're finished, close up the book and ask them to tell you what happened at the start, then what happened in the middle, and how did the story end. Another fun thing to do is before you finish the story, pause and ask them what they think will happen at the end of the story, or what they think will happen next in the story. Just sort of gets them engaged in the story and like that they're listening for a meaning. So those are some activities to do, and I can't stress more that to read to your child. The more you read, the better it is for their experience in kindergarten. All right, we're going to move on to some math activities that you can do with your child to prepare them. The first activity is some number ID. So you want to practice the numbers in order at the beginning, and then practice the numbers out of order, and maybe make some cards and have your child put them in the correct order, just 1 to 10. Feel free to go to 20 if your child wants to, but at the beginning, just 1 to 10 is perfect. Your child should be able to count to 10. You can have them practice counting up Maybe play a game counting what would come next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what comes next, up to 10. When they're counting, maybe you get some counters out. You could use pennies, little toys. Have them count a pile. Like I said, only up to 10, but when they're counting, you want them to touch each object and pull it. So they're making a one-to-one correspondence when they're counting, not just pointing. So you want tactile items that they can count with. So you can just make that fun and have them count out a group of 5 or count out a group of 8 for you. Like I said, a number's up to 10. The next thing is patterning. We spend a lot of time on patterning in kindergarten. They could use colors to make a pattern with, or blocks, any little items they have to make a pattern. So the first pattern we will learn is an A, B, A, B, A, B. So like a red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue pattern, or an A, B, C pattern. So they could make a red, yellow, orange, red, yellow, orange. Colors are great to start a pattern with, or if they have little toys that they have several of to continue the pattern. So they love making a pattern and clapping a pattern, like clap, clap, pat, clap, pat. So clap out their pattern. You can look for patterns, especially in nature, like finding patterns around the house. And then let them create their own pattern and tell you about that pattern. So patterning is big. The other thing is basic shapes. We want them to be able to recognize them and name them. So by basic shapes, we mean, of course, like a triangle, circle, rectangle, oval, square, as well as a diamond. We also call it a rhombus, or a hex and a hexagon. So those are what we mean by basic shape. A hexagon and a diamond are included with those shapes. So they should be able to recognize those. So you could go on a shape hunt around the house. While you're driving, look for shapes, especially on street signs. So just have fun with that one. That one's a lot of fun. They could also build shapes with something at home. Marshmallows and toothpicks are a really fun way to make some shapes that have corners and sides. The other thing that is big is sorting. We're going to do a lot of sorting in kindergarten. You could practice this at home. You could sort by the shape of something, the color something is, or maybe the size, like small things, big things. Like I said, by the shape. They have the similar shape. Some items to use, just for some ideas, might be cereal, especially like Fruit Loops where there's colors. You could just sort buttons, shells, little shells, rocks. Use your imagination. The important part of this is for them to be able to tell you how they sorted it and why those things belong in that group together. All right, parents, we are looking forward to a great year and can't wait to meet you all, and we will see you all soon.
Social skills is something else that's really important for kindergarten. Some different things you guys can do at home to get ready for kindergarten to help your social skills are inviting friends over to play, encouraging taking turns, waiting your turn patiently, and sharing toys with others. Playing board games. And playing board games is really important, not only handling winning, but also losing. What are some things you can say to our friends who win? Nice game. That was fun playing with you. Something else you can work on for social skills is practicing reciprocal conversations. That's asking and answering questions. Can your child listen to the answer and then ask a follow-up question? Some other things for independence in kindergarten, working on taking care of your belongings. So not only zipping and unzipping, buttoning and unbuttoning your coats, but also zipping and unzipping your backpacks too. Practice putting things inside your backpack before coming to school and taking them out. Some other things to work on to help independence in kindergarten is practicing using scissors and glue sticks. Making sure we put the cap all the way on the glue stick and practice turning it down at the bottom. Some other things that are really helpful are opening lunch items. Even just having your child starting to try it on their own first and attempting it before you help them is a huge step towards independence. Tying shoes is another big thing that we're always helping students with. Again, just even having them try it on their own or working on the first couple steps really goes a long way towards their independence. Some other things you can work on is following 1- and 2-step directions. You can also encourage responsibility for their belongings at home. So give them some chores. Can they pick up their toys? Can they be responsible for hanging up their coat or keeping track of their hat or gloves? You can also give them jobs or responsibilities around the house. Set the table, feed the dog, make their bed. Those are all some examples of how they can become more independent and ready for kindergarten.
Okay, and we finished tonight's program by talking about communication with parents, which I personally think is really important that you know what's going on here, but that you also get a chance to get some glimpses into the classroom and see what your kids are doing. To that end, we have a weekly newsletter called the Cardinal Kickoff, and we typically have in there all kinds of updates, things that are going on with the school, with our Highland parent organization, all the fun extra activities that are going on. And then 2, I try to include in there some glimpses from the classroom, photos and short anecdotes as to what kids have been up to over the course of the past week. Kids don't always talk to us when they come home and tell us what happened in class. So it's nice to see from an adult perspective, here's what kids have been working on over the course of the past week. So you'll get that once a week. That'll come to you via email, and make sure you give us your email address when you register so that you get our newsletters. Also, we'll use text messages to communicate with parents. Sometimes logistical things, if buses are delayed, sometimes just important messages. Other times in emergency situations, we may use text messages. So make sure that you opt in for text messages when you get directions on how to do that for our district. We use Google Calendar. So all the big events and the dates, end of quarters and grade cards and that type of thing, all that stuff, vacation, spring break, winter break, all that stuff is all on our Google Calendar. So if you use Google Calendar already, you can subscribe to the Highland calendar and you'll be up to date on everything going on. Otherwise, you can just click on the Google Calendar from the district's website and you can see what the dates look like. The district website, we use that to give some static information. Our handbook will always be up there, in addition to some other resources from our Highland parent organization. And then we are active on Facebook, both Highland Elementary and Highland Parent Organization. We communicate through social media with our parents as well. And then finally, our teachers use a wide variety of tools to communicate with parents. This year, we migrated to Schoology, which is our system for communicating assignments and announcements with parents through the classroom. So your individual teacher, child's teacher, will communicate through Schoology. It'll be interesting to see how much we use that once we're done with the pandemic, next fall when we're not doing remote learning anymore, or hybrid schedule. I don't know how much they'll use that, but they all kind of have their own system. Some use like a Remind text message system. Others will text you directly, some email, but your individual teacher will communicate with you on how they plan to communicate for the long run. Okay, I'm going to finish with this. Highland is fantastic. I was the principal of Northview High School for 8 years, and I've seen the end of the road and the journey that our kids are on here. And I cannot say enough nice things, enough wonderful things about Northview High School and the path that your kids are on. Coming here and seeing the other end of that journey and why we're sending kids off to, Ivy League and Stanford and Notre Dame and totally prepared for college. I now see why our kids do so well when they get to Northview High School. Our teachers do an amazing job of nurturing our kids, understanding that they're tiny human beings and they need some extra love and TLC, and they need to learn how to problem solve to work through tough situations. They also know how to challenge them and get them ready for the next step, to help them grow their minds, and so they're ready for the big challenges that await them. Most importantly, though, I think our staff here does a great job caring for our students like they're our own children. And so I can't say enough about the staff, both as a principal and a dad. I am thrilled that my kids are on this path. And I know you guys are going to have a great experience here too. So welcome to Highland. So excited to be welcoming you guys into the Highland family. Okay, and as promised, here are all the dates that I've thrown at you guys throughout the course of this presentation. So you can jot those down into your calendar if you want to do that. I've included the links in the email that contain the link to this video. So if you want to, rather than having to type in those URLs, you can click on those links and access the district website or the Facebook pages, etc. We look forward to next Tuesday, the 26th at 6 p.m. We're going to have a live Q&A. So parents that have questions, want to learn additional information, we'd love to see you. And we will send out a link to join us for that meeting pretty soon here using the same email address that you shared with us. So mark your calendar for 6 p.m. on Tuesday, January 26th. I will be there, our kindergarten team will be there, and the counselor that services our kindergartners will also be there. So if you have additional questions about anything related to Highland or the kindergarten experience, log on and ask away. We look forward to meeting you guys both on the computer in a week, but more importantly, this fall when you bring your kids in for the first time. We have your email address, so I will make sure you guys stay up to date over the summer as we send out communication to our current students on the next school year. We will be sure to include you guys as well, so you'll have all the information that comes out once this school year ends and we're starting to get ready for the next one. If you have any questions, don't ever hesitate to call us or email us here at the school. We'll be happy to help you guys in any way that we can. Our phone number here is 419-824-8611. And my email address is my first initial and last name, so SSWAGGERTY at sylvaniaschools.org. And anything we can do to help you, we'd be happy to do. Thanks for watching. I know this was a long program. Our kindergarten information not usually lasts this long, so I appreciate you guys being patient and watching the whole video. We look forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday and next fall. Have a great rest of your week.